let me say during 10 seconds something about me. I am what we may call an international professor. I speak 7 languages and I work in 15 countries. I could do this lecture in Russian, but my Russian is not perfect. Что касается меня, я думаю, русский язык трудно, но выучить его все-таки можно. And I think that the next time, preparing with a little bit of effort, I'm going to be able to do it in Russian. At the moment I'm studying Turkish, because Turkish wants to enter in Europe. And it's very simple for them to enter in Europe. They must just learn quality norms that we use in Europe. And I have seen, studying where we are now in Turkey and where we want to go for the quality norms, they will need approximately 500 years of trainings. So I have a huge amount of job during a certain amount of time. Here, I saw in Latvia something which is for me very astonishing. I love this country and I love to come here because people are a little bit like the people where I was born. I was born in Lisbon, so I'm a Portuguese, a born Portuguese. And you have the same style from the Portuguese except the sun. Sun is bigger over there. And food is very good as yours. People are very clever, very honest, very simple. Of course, everybody has problems. And we have the same note here in Portugal and in Latvia, you are BB something. And so we have the same sufferings, the same traumas. I love to be here normally, if everything is correct. I will buy a house here. I'm searching a place where I could settle down and have a lot of business with a lot of companies here in Latvia and perhaps in Russia. I work already in Sweden a lot and in other countries. Now, I have finished about me, because when a person is talking about himself, it always seems to be a megalomaniac and a mythomanic, and so I will stop immediately. I was giving this information just as pure IT data for your files and nothing more. I'm a human as all the other ones, but everybody says that my work is excellent, and I'm going to show you this in some interesting steps. Let's start with an exercise, please, because it's necessary for me to have knowledge, a precise knowledge about your skills. So please, will you take a blank paper on your right hand like that, not like that, but like that, and you are going, this is the ITIL processor, so it's very important, and you are going to fold it in the middle like that over there, okay, and you press it a lot, and cut it a lot like that, okay, and when this is finished, which is a very first step, okay, when it's finished, then in this case you open it like that, and the left one goes there in the middle, okay, and you close it and you press a lot. And when you have finished this, there's something that happens which we would call a ITIL miracle. You put it on your hand like that. Put it on your hand like that. And the big pencil, you write your first name, and I will know who you are. First name and name. I will do it for me. And please, cut, eat it, thank you. Another one for you, please. Yes. Another one, take them. Yes. More. Yes. There you go. More for you. One. Yes. Two. Let's catch it. Okay. Another one for you. Please, over there. On the top, on the top. Okay. You see, ITIL teaches that the most important thing is to be able to get involved. As you see, you are involved very fast. This is the ITIL way. We go directly to the subject. Please write in very big capital letters in order that it may be seen and now that we have finished the first exercise, we are going to, when we have finished the first, no. When we have finished the first exercise, we are going to the first pages, the first slides of our small presentation. I'm going to show you in some moments that complex things may be installed very fast, provided that everybody have the information, the correct information. Most companies request, yes, bring the pencil back, right? Most persons say ITIL is wonderful, CMMI is wonderful, etc. But how do we install it in our company? Because Dream is gratis, but you must pay for reality. So, I'm going to show you that things that are very complex may be first understood very fast. Of course, as we don't stay together for a long time, I will not be able to do it for all the processes, the ITIL process and CMMI processes. I will show you on some examples that things are very simple if you approach them with a special way. Confucius, which was a Chinese philosopher, said in minus 465, something like that, he said, you have several paths to climb to the mountain. One of my roles as a professor, as a teacher, and also as a manager, I have made something like 200 IT projects, is to show you different ways to approach and to solve those difficulties that we see in a lot of projects, in a lot of companies. We are going to see that if you approach correctly the ITIL and the CMMI difficulties, things become evident. And when things are evident, it's easy to install them. I'm going to show you in the next steps. This is something you will please give your mail to Vladimir if you want to have 100% of the slides that you are going to see. First of all, a few words about the agenda. So, we will have a small presentation about the company where I work, and we will go to explain a little bit what is the trainings. We are going to talk about a real case that will be said by Vladimir, and we are going to have a final step of 3 questions. Normally, we are going to have a small break between the proof of concept in ITIL and the proof of concept in CMMI. Am I clear? Sure? Right. So, the company Vertica, where I'm working, is an international company with 3 divisions. One division is the trainings, and I am one of the main professors. We don't use independent professors, we have our own professors that go in 15 countries at the moment. I guarantee that in Mexico it's very nice to teach because the sun is absolutely wonderful, despite the fact that I prefer the beauty of women that are in Latin. I don't know why, but it's a pure X-ray image that I have. People are very friendly, but they are different, of course. We have another part, another division, which is called the studies. Studies is something very special. We take 2 studies per year, and one study lasts around 6 months. The one that we are having now is something interesting. We have a huge problem in humanity, which is the drugs and the cocaine and heroin, etc., etc. And all those things are produced in Afghanistan, it's produced in Colombia, etc. And it comes from a vegetable which is called coca. Coca is a very ancient vegetable, and through chemistry, through laboratories, you may transport it into drugs. It's a very good idea to do it. It's a very good idea to do it. Let's suppose that Walters would like to invest a little bit of money, and Walters, do you have available 1 million lots? Not today. Tomorrow you will have it. Okay. Let's suppose that you have available 1 million lots. In this case, with 1 million lots, you build a laboratory that makes an extraction of the liquids of that coca, of that vegetable, and that will produce cocaine, heroin, etc. You have a cost of 1 million watts. But when everything is finished, you will have a return on investment of 12 million lots per year. It means that the first month you put 1 million lots, you recuperate at the end of the month, and then you continue having 1 million lots per year. That's why people that want to enter in a high profit business go to drugs. Of course, you must spend 1 million or perhaps 2 million to buy Kalashnikovs, to buy planes, to give bribes to the police, etc. Well, but yeah, you lose 3 million watts per year. That's what's that? That's nothing compared to 12. It's a small cost. It's a business cost. But it's a huge problem. It's a very big problem, and we must try to stop it. How can we stop that? So the study was, let's find a poison. Let's find a virus. Let's find a bacteria. Let's find a sort of genetic modification of that plant. And when we will have the bacteria, when we are going to have the virus, we fly over Afghanistan, we fly over Colombia, we spread the fog at once, and bacteria that will love to eat coca will eat everything. So normally, when it is finished, in 3 months we have no coca in Afghanistan and in Colombia. I guarantee that I will not say how we do it, because, okay, I'm a dead man for the mafia, it's evident. Because if I destroy such a huge business, I am a target. But they will never know how we do it. How we do it is the study. This is the kind of things that we call a study. We have another part, another division, this is projects. Projects is we send high-skilled people not to work as engineers, to develop or etc. whatever. Personally, I could go, I speak 37 computer languages, as I have 40 ties, so it's something very simple. But the target, and the main target, is to push people to higher skills. We send people to companies only to push people to higher skills. By the way, we are going to do one project. But the target is not the project. The target is to push people to higher skills. Those are the 3 divisions. And this is our organization. We have something that I don't know perfectly, which is between the Bahamas and whatever, which is the holding. The general management that has all the regular and normal tools like marketing, logistics, finances, human resources, etc., which is in Switzerland. And then we have operating divisions that are divided in 3 blocks: training, studies, and projects. So this is the company that is called Vertica. As you see in the drawing over there, the symbol of Vertica, we have a sort of arrow that goes out and the arrow that goes in. It means that we enter in companies to give skills. The target is that one. It's finished. In terms of history, we started in '84, and now we are in 15 countries. We are a small company, and everybody is very highly skilled. I'm going to show you this with a small demonstration with trainings. The target is, how can we put in your brain how can we put in your brain a tool that you may use tomorrow and that is immediately efficient? This is the sort of challenge that we have. So, I'm not going to give here a training about what is ITIL. I suppose that you know what it is. It's a collection of best practices that is split in a collection of processes, etc. CMMI, quality level, etc. I suppose that you know that. And if you don't know it perfectly, it's not an issue. We are going to continue anyhow. The most important word here is how to apply. That one. How do we apply those concepts? Because concepts are very funny, very interesting. But concepts is like a splendid woman in a magazine, okay, in a newspaper. Perhaps splendid, but useless. Totally useless. I prefer something which is perhaps not so splendid, but at home. Instead of having like ITIL and CMMI, I have splendid definitions in a lot of books which are absolutely excellent, and I have nothing in my company. What do I have in my company? I have big bosses that say, ITIL is very good, but we have our own rules, please stick to the rules. You know, ITIL, stick to our own rules, okay? If you need to put a little bit salt of ITIL on it, okay? In fact, we are using ITIL, but it's a different way. So it is an item that is not an item, which is an item, and that we must use and that you should not use because it's not item. The best answer to that is bring the managers in front of international professors and they will be immediately transformed in lovers of such kind of norms, such kind of processes. So, kick off and apply. The target is, I'm going to show you that it's absolutely possible to do it. The answer is very simple. If I want to install ITIL or CMMI in a small company, at home or in a client, just 3 steps. First of all, learn perfectly the question. Be very careful because you are not going to be able to learn only from books. Because books is ink on paper, without emotion, without examples, very hard to connect to the reality. It's a nice dream, nice description. It reminds me a small issue. One day a person wanted to learn to ride horses. And that person was in the middle of the north of Latvia or Sweden or whatever, and they had absolutely no horses. So, he searched on the internet and he found a company that said, we may teach you how to ride horses. He had paid, poof, and they received the first big book, very big book, how to walk with a horse. Paper and guy study. Next month, you received a very big book, how to trot with horses. And that study. On the 3rd month, you received a small envelope, how to gallop with horses. To gallop with horses, you are going to read the book about how to trot with horses, but 10 times faster. It means that knowledge is not reality. You cannot swim reading books. Professors are special persons that have a special quality, which is generosity. They like to give. Some people are managers, they like to drive. It's not the same profession. So, the first thing is to learn, but learn with people that know how to teach, not how to put in your brain some ideas, and the target is to show that it works. Then, second one, follow the guide. It means that The first project, you do it with a person that has both skills, high technical skills and high professor skills. It's the same person. And then start it, and whatever the errors that you are going to do, please continue. I'm going to call to this lecture a guy which is Confucius. Confucius belongs to the treasures of humanity. One of the greatest thinkers for all life. That man could say very complex ideas in simple ways. And everybody understands throughout the centuries. For example, you have several paths to climb to the mountain. Everybody understands it. It means that the solution that you find is one possible solution. Other solutions may perhaps exist. And everybody understands that well. And he said, humanity is divided in 4 sorts of people. The first one, people that don't know, and they don't know that they don't know. And Confucius said, they are fools, fly away from them. Sometimes when I go to a coffee in Paris, I go to the bar and I take a coffee, and near me I have a person that is criticizing Sarkozy or Merkel or Obama and saying what he should do. It's a fool. He knows nothing about politics. He knows nothing about economics. He knows nothing. He may say some words criticizing a guy that is 1,000 kilometers above. A person of the level of Obama, Merkel, etc., is a person that may receive 1,000 incidents by his call center, and they will be solved in the day. In the day. The guy that is taking the bar, giving lessons to Sarkozy or whatever, can talk, cannot do. It is an ignorant, he doesn't know, and he doesn't know that he doesn't know, it's a fool. Confucius said, there are people that don't know, but they know that they don't know. Okay? So those people are ignorant. Teach them. They don't know. They know that they don't know. Teach them. A lot of people are there in a lot of fields. For example, I don't know perfectly whatever, to play the flamenco guitar, but I know it, and I may take a teacher to learn it. Confucius said, you have people that know, but they don't know that they know. This is very interesting. The best example in humanity was the case of Caruso. Caruso was a bar singer, was singing in the bar with the piano. And one day, a guy from the Scala of Milano entered and said, this is an opera singer. And he doesn't know. He took the guy, he brought it to the Scala of Milano, and Caruso became Caruso. When Caruso crossed the borders of a country, the police that were just in the border said, we have something to declare. And Caruso, with humor, said, yes, I have gold. Gold! And they opened all the wallets to see where was the gold. There is no gold. Yes, the gold is here. It means that a manager, the main manager, could see that Caruso didn't know that he knew. And the role of the manager was to bring the guy to the level. So those guys, they sleep awake. And Confucius said, there are some people that know, and they know that they know. Those guys are interesting. They are wise. Follow them. It's totally evident that we belong in the same time in the 4 squares. Sometimes I'm talking about something that I don't know perfectly, I don't know. Sometimes I will talk about the idea of Merkel or Obama or whatever, and I'm a stupid, I'm a fool. I'm talking about something that I don't know that I don't know. The teachers are here, the managers are called here, the teachers are there, working. And this is the kind of role of teachers, real professors, not school teachers, real persons that push the ones. They have not only the leadership to push groups of people, but they install in brains wills. There is a very nice example that was given by Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci was in Naples, this is historic. And he saw people that were carving a stone. And the three people were making the same thing. A hammer, an iron, carving the stone. And he asked to the first one, what are you doing? First one said, fucking stupid, I'm carving a stone. It's evident, carving a stone. Okay. Went to the next one, what are you doing? Same movement. Okay, simple, I'm building a wall. I'm building a wall. And he went to the first one, carving a stone, same tools. What are you doing? I'm building a cathedral. That is the vision. What we must do in companies is to install the vision in everybody. If they don't have the vision, they are carving a stone. If they have the vision, they are building a door or a wall or a basilica, a dome. They have the global vision. People that don't have the global vision are very unhappy. They work without knowing why they are working. So the target here is to sharpen their knife. The role of a real professor is to take a brain, as low level as it may be, we have here a nice example, to take a brain as it is and increase a certain amount of skills. Training is just purely this. We take the brain as it is, poof, and we push it to a higher level. How we do it? Let's describe it in 4 points. We are going to work with simple persons. We are going to work with structures. And the target is better quality in some sort of skill. That could be organization, more languages, people management, leadership, logistics, whatever, I don't care. No. The target is, we take simple persons to make them better technicians and better managers. For the structures, we are going to install a better collaboration. I'm going to talk in a few moments of a very nice example of better collaboration that we have done in South Korea. Better targets, so better return on investments. And of course, everything that humanity builds is imperfect. Those imperfections contain a lot of risks. And we have tsunamis and we have fires, etc., etc. But all those risks must be known and handled. The better quality that comes finally will be better deliveries. People will deliver what is requested and will deliver it in time, in schedule, according to the plannings. Let's make a second exercise. Let's make a second exercise, please. Andres, please. What is an excellent manager? Janis, what is an excellent manager?
Great level of skills of leading others.
Imad, what is an excellent manager?
One of is following procedures.
Following procedure. Okay? Nico, what is an excellent manager?
Leadership.
Could give a vision to others.
Give a vision to others. Brilliant. What is an excellent manager?
Motivate people.
Huh?
Motivate people.
Good. Paul, what is an excellent manager?
To listen to people.
What?
To listen to people.
Listens to people. Okay? Ashens? What is an excellent manager?
Who can push people.
Can push people. What is an excellent manager?
Good leader.
What?
good leader.
A good leader, that is, and Marika, what do you think? What is an excellent manager?
Make decisions.
Makes decisions, okay. You, what do you think? That
Person who can foresee and plan stuff.
proceed and plan. That's, all those definitions are very good, very good. Let's call a great manager, an excellent manager like Steve Jobs or like Spielberg. Those are big, big, big managers, high quality. What do? They are simple humans. Simple humans. Spielberg is a guy that has made one of the most wonderful films on Earth. And at 5:30, he says, "Oh, I'm going home to see my kids." He stops working at 5:30, always, since ever. I don't know how he can do it. When I stop at midnight or at 4 o'clock in the morning, I have almost finished, but not yet. And he stops, that guy stops. Every day, always. They have a special skill, those guys. And this is a skill that we teach. They have this skill. They may extract excellent results from normal people. Because people are as they are. You are not going to change people. But the people that are working with you, well, they are what they are.
Sometimes they change.
Yes, sometimes they change. Yes. But we cannot change their content. They are what they are. Okay? Do you agree, Gundega? Would you like to change? Sometimes you say that guy cannot work correctly with him. I give him orders, etc., etc. He does not stick to my demands, etc. It's no good. I'd like to change, and you cannot. If you become an excellent manager, you will use that guy, and that guy will produce excellent results. I guarantee that if you are going to work with Steve Jobs or Spielberg or a guy like that, in 2 weeks you are giving astonishing results with pleasure. You don't need to have a fortune. You are so pleased to give excellent results that you have a normal salary and you are very happy. So this is an excellent manager. If the team does not produce results, teach the manager or change the manager. Do not accuse the team. The team are soldiers. The question relies on the general, on the major, on the captain. He is the one that has the role. Spielberg makes nothing. Spielberg sits there, makes nothing. If you have a guy that is guiding an orchestra, he does not play the piano, the violin, perhaps he cannot touch a trumpet. But with small movements, he puts Beethoven in the 200 players of different instruments, and it's perfect, perfect. This is an excellent manager. Now, how can this guy work? He has an excellent communication. An excellent communication. If he has an excellent communication, once he knows what it is, installs ITIL and says, wow, something very simple. Why? Because he communicates very well. Let's see what is the issue of communication. Let's suppose you recognize it immediately. On the left, you have the big boss. You see immediately. And on the right, you have the employee. You see immediately the difference. Right? It's totally evident. And when the big manager calls the employee, he has an excellent idea in his head. It may be whatever. Install logistics, install the new planning, do this, do that, etc. He knows perfectly. In his brain, his idea is totally, perfectly correct. And he wants to install all this in the brain of the employee. Okay? So, how he does it, telepathy does not exist yet, so he talks, or he writes. But when he talks, he will not talk during 4 hours, or 4 days, or 4 weeks, or will not write 200 pages. He will talk in a meeting or directly. And when he talks, he loses, he transmits only 40% of what he thinks. And if the telephone is going to ring, it will be 38 or 35% because he forgot something. Now, the other person, the employee, you recognize immediately the employee that is obeying to his boss will listen carefully and will transport in his brain 40% of what he heard. What is the final result of the transmission? 20%?
16.
80.
Tatiana? 10, 50? Yes?
40 plus 40, 80.
40 plus 40, 80. Alexei, what is the final result of the transmission? 16. 40% of 40% is 16. It means that when the big boss had a big idea, calling all the team, explaining, at the end, he will transmit 16% of his brilliant idea. And be careful. This is humanity. It means 100% of humans work like that. And think like and behave like that. And the question, you've got it, you understood me? The guy will answer, yes, perfectly. Understood perfectly, 16%. He does not know that he does not know. Okay? And we have a very big issue, which is that perhaps we have a very important point, which is in yellow, that was in the brain of the big boss. If we are lucky, it will be inside the 16% that were transmitted. If we are unlucky, the big strategic point will be outside. And you see at the end that your employee has totally missed the target. And the big boss would say that, am I stupid? No. So the guy is stupid. No. We teach that when you are talking to people, you transmit only 16%. There are some exceptions, like big international professors. 1 meter 84 is big. 1 meter 84 is big. Okay. It means people that work a lot on this communication issue. When you are going to meetings, you know that 2 minutes after the start of the meeting, you get bored. God. And you must, very smiling because you have a big boss here. Yes, big boss, it's a brilliant idea. What should I do in my conversation? Yes, big boss. People disappear very fast from meetings because communication is very bad. The one that is talking has not learned how to communicate, so he will forget to communicate. He transmitted 2%. 2%. There was a very interesting thing, nice example, which was Haile Selassie. Who was Haile Selassie? Haile Selassie, the emperor of Abyssinia, which was conquered by Mussolini. The emperor, Haile Selassie, had a very bad attitude. When he was sitting around the ministers, he would turn to the Minister of Health and say, Mr. Minister of Health, we have a huge problem in health, so I need that you do something. And that you do. Do you agree with me? The true guy said, yes, of course. At the end, if there was a success, the emperor was brilliant as usual. And if he had a failure, the minister was stupid as usual. And we're fighting. This is the Haile Selassie technique. And a lot of people hide, a lot of managers hide communication without noticing to keep power, and they behave like Haile Selassie. They don't know that they are transmitting every time 16%. Now suppose a chain, we have a big manager. Let's take for example a real very big manager. Very big. He's going to transmit a brilliant idea that he has to another manager that receives perfectly 16%. That is going to transmit to another one that will have 16% of 16%. You may imagine that the poor soldier that is here receives nothing. Now, what can he do? Well, nothing. And if he does nothing, well, he's not clever, he does not have the skills, his salary is not the result, you have a trial or something. And this is because everybody forgot that in the chain of transmission you transmit only 16%. So, communication skills is something very important to be an excellent manager. With communication skills, you may bring people to the knowledge that you want to have. And this is the skills that Steve Jobs has and Spielberg has. When he talks, you understood it perfectly. The idea is perfectly transmitted. Now, what is an excellent technician? Tatiana. You are an excellent technician, of course, it's evident that just look at you in the corner of your head, you're an excellent technician. So, what is an excellent technician? Brilliant. An excellent technician is a person that may deliver. You request something from him, and he may deliver. And he may deliver the needed target at the specified, agreed level. You will not spend 2 years to deliver something that is in gold because we need it in 2 weeks. You will deliver in the right time, at the agreed level. That's an excellent technician, whatever. Maybe a doctor, an architect, a programmer, or whatever. This is an excellent technician. So the crucial point here is the service level agreement. We are going to talk a little bit about it. Let's go about this idea of a service level agreement. You know that there is always a huge dispute when you put 3 points together like quality, cost, and times. The S is because you have different costs coming from your own investments, what you buy, salaries, costs, extra costs, risks, etc., insurance, whatever. And times is the planning of me, of the client, of the suppliers, by a collection of times. Now, when you are delivering something, you must put the level at a certain point. Suppose that I say, well, I want a very high quality, an excellent quality. If I want an excellent quality, in this case, I will have a huge cost, and I will have a huge time to deliver. You cannot have all of them at the same time. And if you say, well, let's make it very short and very fast. Make it very fast. I don't tell you about the cost, and I don't tell you about quality. Deliver it for yesterday. No. And if you want to have a very low cost, you are going to buy a service that is made in straw, that is made of nothing. Or it will be done when we will have time to do it, means next year, like Christmas. Or the quality will be absolutely awful. And if we try to put, let's say, equilibrate, for example, good cost and good times, the quality is not good, and if you put it over there, excellent quality and good time, well, in this case, I don't talk about the cost, etc. So we say, let's put it here. And in this case, we have something which is astonishing. We are very bad in cost, we are very bad in times, and we are very bad in quality. We are very bad everywhere. Now, if we deliver a service is described in a document, in a Word document, very big, that is signed by the lawyers, by the technicians, etc., etc. And this is not the correct idea. If you want to deliver something very interesting, you split the service of what you want to give. And all your Word document is split in lines of Excel. Each line of the Word document gets 1 line of Excel, an Excel data sheet, and for each line you show the level, the service level that you want to give. That's brilliant. Because I could say, for example, for this I want it very fast because I need to deliver, I need to have the server very fast, okay? I must be excellent in the quality of the front screens, the front office must be excellent for the client, the internet, etc. must be very good quality, etc., etc. And we may The database may be some sort of sheet, something, I don't care, or it works. It could be MySQL, whatever. Not going to buy Oracle, which is too expensive. Always 3 zeros, too much on the price on the bill for Oracle. I don't know what it is. It's only 3 zeros too much. And so we are going to choose line by line what is the level. And when you have done this, in this case your SLA is correct. An SLA is never for a service, it's for each atom of the service. Each atom of each molecule of a service, Z3. Now this is an idea. Now, we all know what is an SLA. An SLA is a contract between a giver and the receiver, a supplier and the client. It belongs to ITIL, which belongs, I would say in short words, to CMMI. We all know that CMMI is a collection of best practices, and I'd like to remind you how ITIL was born. How was ITIL born, Ernst?
Practices were like collected, best practices.
America, how ITIL was born. Who owns ITIL?
Users? MIT?
Niklaus, how ITIL was born. Let's go back.
Is it the MIT study?
Let's go back to World War II. Let's go back to World War II. We had the Nazis here. Destructions. Hitler left his name in history because it has been the biggest destructure of all history. He destroyed so many things, it's incredible. And it was necessary to clean all that mess. Hitler was very proud because he went to see Franco, the dictator in Spain, and said, well, it can be as how much power as I have. I have 2,000 planes. 2,000 planes, nobody has that. With the Luftwaffe, 2,000 planes, I win. On the D-Day, when the Allies entered in Europe by France, they brought 10,000 planes per day, every day. And of course, in this case, despite the fact that the German army was totally excellent brains like Rommel, etc., it was totally clean. But now, we are the generals of the Allies, Eisenhower's of that period, etc., and say, how can we manage such a big project? We are going to send 4 million soldiers, invade France. Those people are going to die in their beaches, so they must have a Coca-Cola bottle, a piece of their land in the pocket. And we must manage the shoes, we must manage the guns, we must manage the bullets. It was very complex, it was a huge project. And the first ideas were born there. So, around, I say it shortly, 1945, we have the first ideas that appear on the military. Now we are, let's say, 2000, okay? I'm going to make it short. Let's say that we have 50 years that are passed around. During 50 years, 10,000 consultants brought excellent ideas. And each one added a little bit to it. If we make a small multiplication, 50 years multiplied by 10,000 consultants, how many men here is that? Huh? 500,000 years of consultancy. Years of men years of consultancy, that's a lot. We put all this in 5 books. We call it ITIL, and let's make no dispute, the owner of ITIL is the Queen of England. The Queen of England owns the brand ITIL. If you use ITIL without calling by phone Her Majesty the Queen, you cannot use it. You should call before putting ITIL in the mail. Because she owns it. Of course, it's totally evident that this means it belongs to humanity in order that we have no commercial dispute on it. There's an angel, the Queen of Heaven, that owns the idol brand. So there is no dispute, and it's just something that you must learn. This is idol. Idol is the compression of 500,000 years of honest people, loyal people, that invented new solutions, new solutions, new solutions. Each one criticizing the other ones that second. It means that now we have what we call modestly the best practices, and there is no competition at all. We have other brilliant ideas like Prince 2, Sigma, Lean, blah, blah, etc. It's excellent. Nothing is better than ITIL. Because ITIL, we have 500,000 years of work on it. And it's coming version to version, it's coming to each time a better quality. And now, in the version that we have now, ITIL is a collection of processes. And as you may see, I told you, there's one process that is very special. Normally, you are working, when you install a project, you are going to give your project to somebody. So the central, the crucial process is a service level agreement. Because you are deciding with your client, what you are going to give. And if afterwards you need to increase capacity or whatever, you need to have better earnings on financial, etc., you are going to retouch a little bit the service level, saying, my dear client, would you accept if I close the service between midnight and 7 o'clock? Because if I can do it, I will use the service for China or whatever. Okay? You will touch a little bit the service level agreement. The crucial point is the service level agreement. The all other ones are working for it, because we are not making projects for us, we are making projects for clients. The clients have a collection of requests, functions, etc., etc. So we must decide what we are really going to give. And depending on the service level, quality level that we agree together, all other processes come down. If we say in the service level, I guarantee that you have 24 hours per day, every second, you have 2 gigabytes of internet capacity, whatever, in this case, you are going immediately to push the other process in order to be able to give it to them. So the crucial process in ITIL is that one. All other ones spin around. Because if you have an excellent proposal, etc., and you go to see your client, and you say to my dear client, I have something absolutely brilliant, which is a new version, etc., what do you agree? Do you take it? The client could say, I'm going to take it, but I want a lower price. It means that if he says, I want a lower price, I must immediately retouch something else, and if I accept to modify the service level agreement, in this case, I will retouch either capacity or I will not give this or I will not give, etc. So, all processes are very important. But as ITIL teaches how to give services to clients, we have two persons. We have a communication problem. And in order to avoid a communication that goes down to 16%, we write everything in the service level, line by line. And we agree, line by line, what is the kind of level, quality level, that we are going to give. And if the client decides, for example, the client could say, I want to have a big marketing for Christmas. So I need this and that, I need 50 pages on internet, I need this and that. Okay, no problem. You really want it? Please sign it here. Please sign that you want it, and in this case, we are going to modify something else. And those modifications are a result, or a small modification on the service level agreement, which is the number one process in ITIL. All other processes are going to look at the service level agreement to say what is decided with your client. let's have an ideal approach now about something. Oh God, well, how many processes do we have? How many processes we have? Small errors and processes with small repetition, small error. How many processes do we have? 1, 2, 3, how much? Huh? 31. 31 is a lot. I'm going to learn art and learn. 31 processes to learn. I will not be able to sleep. And I must minimum sleep 4 hours per day. Is it correct? Huh? Minimum 4 hours per day. How am I going to learn 31 processes? That's impossible. I will learn 1, I will learn 2, and I will say that I will know the other ones, which is false. So I'm going to give you, and that's the proof, I'm going to show you how a professor can put in your head in 5 minutes. I'm going to put in your head all the idle processes. I request, please, that you take a blank paper, possibly with two colors, and you are going to design on a totally blank paper, yeah, exactly what you are going to see in the screen. And at the end, you will understand all, I say all, the idle processes. You will understand the box. After that, you will change a little bit the meat, and it will be an idle process, that will be capacity, that will be service level, whatever. But you understood all processes in 5 minutes. This is the power of teaching, correct teaching. So, let us start. Think, what is a process? Tom, what is a process?
Something that you can define in paper, means
Louder?
how to control things like processes that flow events.
Mm-hmm. What is a process? Now, I'm going to the people that are the big scientists. Inga, what is a process? Thank you. Astrid, what is a process? A process is so it's very important. If a woman says it has a lot of information inside. Barbara, what is a process? All kind of activity. And you judge, what is a process?
I think it's a simple stuff that you can repeat all over again.
Okay. Christos, what is a process?
Some actions which should start and end.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Max, what is a process?
It's a series of actions, predefined series of actions.
Predefined series of actions, okay. Now let's go on the side, perhaps we have fresh vegetables here. So, Sergej, what is a process?
Set of actions to produce exact results.
Okay. That's excellent. And then, what's your opinion, Dimitri? What is a process?
List of actions.
List of
of instructions.
Okay, I may stop, because all this is correct and all this is wrong. It is incomplete. I guarantee that in 5 minutes you know what is you will know for 40 years what is a process and what is an idle process. And you will be able to repeat it from tomorrow. It's very simple. So will you please draw a small square precisely as that? Big square. Very big. The whole page. You make the dots very clear, please. dots, very clear, and you write the name of the dots. You see that at the first step, a process is 5 nodes, is 5 things. The first one is a director. You don't have a process if you cannot call the director by phone insulting him because his stupid process is not working. Okay? If you don't have a director, you have no responsibility, you cannot listen, you cannot have answers. Look at the straight line, it goes directly to the documentation. You access a process by the documentation. You have an access, an alias, into a server that points to a file, and this file will say, for example, who is the director? And it's totally evident that a process will take something as inputs, will cook it in a lot of activities, and will deliver outputs, well, basic IT processing. Okay? Now, will you please be so kind to add a little bit more drawings? We are going to make some triangles, and we are going to add, just near the director, you have the objectives of the process. The objective of the process is the target. It means what the process must do. Those objectives are split in a collection of activities. And objectives are connected to something over there which is metrics. Metrics is the most important thing that the director must do immediately. Now, the director is called first day he enters in his office, he studies the objectives, and he opens the documentation and starts writing. And what is going to start is to read the metrics. Why? Because children exist. Do you have children, Tatjana?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. It's a nice mode. In France we have children also. Yeah, interesting. When your child goes home, you will notice that the first thing that you do, you look at your child to see if he's ill. It's the first movement that a woman has when children go home. Is he with health? No problems at school? Looks if the child is ill. The first thing that a director of a process must install is my process running well, or is it starting to be a bucket of shit that produces nothing correctly? And over there we are going to put the KPIs, which is, for example, how many clients are complaining, how many clients of the service are complaining. And it's not just quantities, it's accelerations. If I say 10 clients, well, let's put a velocity, 10 clients per day. And if you put an acceleration, is we had 100 clients that were unhappy yesterday, and we are having 10% more clients that are unhappy. This is an acceleration. Oh, that's very bad. But if we have 100 clients that are unhappy yesterday, and we have 10% less every day, this is excellent. My process is starting to be in a very good health. So we are going to put here in the KPI 3-4 indicators that just say, is my process in good health, like my child. Now, those here are very close to the director. Here, near the documentation, we are going to put the resources. Resources are either humans or machines. Resources is not money. With money, you can buy machines. With money, you can give salaries of resources. But money does nothing. For example, if I have a piece of gold, I cannot eat it. I will die. But with a piece of gold, I can buy food. Okay. Gold itself, money itself, is nothing. It's a tool to have something. But those resources, where are they? Well, they are inside activities. They are doing something. So you are going to split the objectives in a lot of sub-activities, and we will have a resource that will be there analyzing the inputs, a resource that will be there producing outputs for metrics, etc. And a person will be there in the activities producing the updates of the documentation, etc. Those people that are there to work, they need tools. Tools may be not only machines, but Oracle, Excel, whatever, applications, house applications, etc., etc. And those tools are evidently described in the documentation. Now, we are seeing that the process at the moment is 13 points. Let's see the other ones. Here on the inputs, we have the controls. What is the control? The control of the process. I'm going to use an example. Lila, please, stand up. Lila, please, sit down. You noticed that I could act on this process. I could start the process and I could stop the process. If I say, Elizabeth, stand up, I cannot do it because there is not that resource present. I cannot control that resource. I cannot catch it. If I say Sarkozy, stand up, well, I can say it, like I cannot control it. The ability to control, the first ability is you are able to start and to stop a sense. It's the first one. And after that, you may control a little bit like a wash machine for dishes or a wash machine for clothes. You can say you are going to wash, but at a high temperature, low temperature, high speed, etc. You may tune a little bit. So the controls are start, stop, and tuning something. For example, if activity is I'm going to build my CV because I want to have a better job, input files are the input files of my CV, and controls will be I do it in blue, I do it in red, I do it vertically, I do 200 pages, I do 200 copies, I do just one, etc. This is small controls. The machine is still the same, but you adapt something. When you have a coffee machine in your office, you have some controls. I want coffee, I want chocolate, it's the same machine, but you control some points, some different ways of working. Those are the controls. Now there's something which is here that's outputs. Let's suppose that the activity is payroll. Payroll. And let's suppose that the input, I'm going to put the president of the company. Big president of big company. $2 billion per month or whatever. I'm going to put here the president. Tagadum, tagadum, tagadum. The payroll is done. The check is going down over there. And the check is going to be 20 lots. 20 lots salary for a president. No, per month. It's a salary. 20 lots. It's very curious. It does not seem correct. Now let's suppose that I'm going to input the plumber. And I'm going to make the payroll of the plumber. Tagadum, tagadum, blah, blah, blah. Output 1 million lots. It seems to me we have an issue with that. Normally a plumber, 1 million lots for a plumber, it's a huge cost. When you have some doubts here, you have here a special door where you output the thing that seems funny, that seems not to be regular, and you re-input it in the receiver, but you follow very carefully saying, now I have the plumber that goes there, goes there, goes there, goes there, ah! It's over there, the small one. Means you are re-executing the process, but step by step, following to find the error. So we have here a special output. we have over there a very special output also, which goes directly and sends information to matrix. For example, I'm doing my CV. I printed my CV, and matrix is the number of pages. Puff, I print my CV, 250 pages. That's 50 pages for my CV. 250 pages, sure, mistake. How many times I have that mistake? Every time that I print CVs, we have 250 pages. The file is not correct, the database is corrupt, or whatever. Okay? It means that when we are producing something, we are extracting some information that is going to be sent to the matrix. Just like Evan said, poof, some of them are sent to the matrix, and the matrix will say, will transform it in velocities or accelerations. We are printing CVs in this company, and yesterday we have 100 CVs totally stupid, but it's going down at 10%. Oh, okay. You see that there is a direct connection. Activities that are there produce an output, but have a special door for special cases that are visibly wrong, and poof, special door to catch information to matrix. And now, I'm going to request that you add some lines to transform the little ones in triangles. As you may see now, we are at 5 plus 8. The process is 13 nodes, 13 things. Will you please be so kind to add the lines that are there? Finished? Finished? Barbara, finished? Okay. Now, will you please add those lines here? We create some triangles. Yes, triangles here. We create some triangles. And on the top of the triangles that you create, you put some dots. So we have added 4 yellow dots. We have at the moment a certain amount, which is not 22, it's an arrow. It's 17. We have 17 dots. Now, let's explain what is this. The dot on the left here is called time is money. Tom, repeat. Time is money. Thank you. The dot on the left, on the right here, is we must survive. Always. Please repeat. We must survive. Thank you so much. Now, the dot over there is an incident is not a problem. If asked, please repeat.
An incident is not a problem.
An incident is not a problem. And then we have the final one, which is do it better. Andres, please repeat. Do it better. Thank you. Now, if I transform those ideas, which are simple mnemonics, by the content, if time is money, it means that I must, for a process, handle the budgets and handle the plannings. Time is money reminds me that a process does not exist if you don't have a budget that is attached, money, and if you don't have plannings that is attached. So we have 2 points here. We must survive means that whatever you may do, you always have something which is called the principle of Caesar. Julius Caesar, the principle of Caesar. You have a big city with a big wall, and you are inside. Okay? If you are attacked by an enemy, the enemy always wins if he has time enough to choose the correct point. I'm going to give you an example. Let's suppose that we have one door which is over there. We have only that door, let's suppose. And I want to be quiet with you, so I close the door. There is somebody outside that wants to enter. How much time would need a person that would like to enter? How much, Maris? How to enter in the door if the door is closed? How much time?
The door is closed.
The door is closed. He wants to enter.
Maybe he calls someone and
No. He wants to enter, and you don't want to. But he wants to enter. How much time?
Maybe a minute, 1 minute.
2 seconds. Break! The door is broken and he enters. Okay? If he wants to enter, he enters. Now, he said, no, I'm not protected. I have the risk of having people that enter with one shot. I'm going to change the door. I'm going to put an iron door, absolutely very strong, like in a bank, and I close it. Now, suppose that a person is outside, Ravis, and he wants to enter. That big door that I put. How much time is needed to enter?
2 seconds.
Huh?
I didn't waste it.
What?
I did waste it.
How much time is needed?
2
If
seconds.
the door is closed,
Really? It's a bank door.
and then
2 seconds with TNT.
2 seconds. He takes a bazooka, poof, 2 seconds, it's closed, it's open. If the enemy wants to enter, even if I put a bunker here, it comes with an army, with an atomic bomb, with a tank, and the door is open. It means that to protect yourself from the risks that you have, you are going to put securities. But whatever the securities that you may have, security will always lose if the attacker goes higher. And that's why it's very difficult to defend a city and a castle, because to defend a city and a castle, you are going to put a lot of troops around you. You have a lot of soldiers that are there. And the attacker will put some soldiers in the weak point. Poof, he enters. With some soldiers, he enters. There is also another thing in the principle of Caesar. You lose a city immediately if you have a traitor inside. Best example, Troy. They put a horse inside the city. 20 soldiers were inside the horse. At 4 o'clock in the morning, they went down, killed some guards, and opened the doors. Troy was destroyed. If you have a traitor inside, your protections do not exist. So we see 2 points. We have the risk to be attacked, and we are going to install securities. But suppose that the enemy wins, the enemy instant destroys our securities, our protections. With a bazooka or whatever, he puts enough money, and he enters in my database, he enters in my service, and steals the files of the clients or whatever. Enters. So I totally, or I have a fire, and the server burned, and the general manager died in the plane or whatever. Something very high. In this case, we have a huge issue. Shall we die? Shall we die? I have an excellent example. It was the Twin Towers. Everybody knows about that history of Twin Towers. Twin Towers were houses, the offices inside, and a certain amount of stupids transformed a plane in a bomb, in a flying bomb, hit them, boom, went down. Well, 3,000 deaths is less than the deaths in the streets of the United States for 1 hour, okay? But it was a huge loss of image. And at that point, you had some offices, for example, the financial management of Sweden was there. And in 2 seconds, the financial management of Sweden, poof, evaporated. Now, Sweden relies on boats and on iron. It means that in 2 seconds, Sweden was in bankruptcy. Could not pay the boats, could not pay the sailors, could not pay the petrol, could not pay nothing, insurance, etc. It was bankruptcy for all Sweden. It should disappear. So in 5 minutes, the Queen of Sweden, that has absolutely no knowledge about financials, said, I sign any check that is requested by any person that requests something from Sweden. I sign immediately. She stopped bankruptcy. It means that whatever the incident that may destroy a big part of the company, a big part of the service, we must always think we must survive. It's not because the Nazis are bombing London that they are going to conquest England. Okay, they are destroying London, okay, perfectly, but we will survive. This is a word from Churchill. We will not surrender, we will survive. So, a process must own the protections, the securities against risks, and somewhere hidden under a carpet you must have some gold or some servers or whatever that you may reuse in case of a big explosion. And you put them in Mexico, in China, or whatever. This idea of an incident is not a problem means that an incident is something that should not happen. The printer should print, and it's not printing, it's an incident. When the guys that were in Apollo 13 called Houston saying, Houston, we have a problem, it was not a problem, it was an incident. We should have oxygen, and we don't have it. The print is not printing, the oxygen is not coming, it's an incident. And of course, in that case, you know that all the Nobel Prizes of the United States were called in their huge meetings, video conferences. What shall we do? The guys are going to die in 2 hours if we don't find a solution to give oxygen to those guys. We must fix that incident immediately. This is the main idea which is behind the incident. The print is not printing, it must be fixed immediately. The guys are going to die, we must fix it immediately. And the scientist, the Nobel said, well, you cut a little bit of dust, you cut some hair, you piss on it, that's it, you burn it, and you have oxygen to survive. They are like MacGyvers that find a solution to fix the incident as fast as possible. This is the idea about incident. And what is a problem is, it's very curious, printers are not printing. The old week we have 200 printers that do not print at all, and we don't know why. So in this case, it's not a MacGyver that is going to be called, it's a Sherlock Holmes, it's an inspector, Colombo, that's going to search. And that will find the root cause, it means the cause of the cause of the cause that produces the incident. If your process has MacGyver and a Sherlock Holmes, in this case you are protected against incidents and you have somebody that will be able to handle the problems. And finally, we have here, do it better. What is do it better? First of all, whatever you have done, you can really do it better. There is something in France which is a very interesting tradition. In France there is it's a sport with bicycles, they go around France. What is the name of that? The bicycles, they go around France. The Tour de France. And normally in a sport competition there is always a winner. And the winner is the best one, so it's the winner. Is the winner, and is the winner. He must say something. It's a French tradition. He must say, thank you so much. I will do it better next time. It's very important because he's saying, I'm not the best forever. Another person could do it better. Perhaps me, I will do it better next year. It's always possible to do it better. This is the do it better, the continuous improvement. Whatever you do, give 5 minutes per week, even 5 minutes per week, and think about your process and say, what could you improve? Could you deliver the same service at 100 watts less? Or could you increase the speed of the band? Or could you put a red button on the right? Try to improve something. Whatever you have, don't be satisfied with what you have. Okay? Women are excellent in this point of view because very often they ask to men a very silly question. Darling, do you love me? Maybe. And, men are simple humans. They say, yes, of course I love you, my dear. Okay, thank you. But do you love me? It means that we must invent solutions to say, I love you, but do it better. Next time, bring a rose. Next time, bring a ticket to the cinema. If you do that, she will trust you. But if you just say, my darling, yes, of course I love you. Still clear? Well, you asked me that question. I love you, of course I love you. News in the television. She will say, he doesn't love me at all. It means that when you give an answer, perhaps your answer is not enough. So do it better next time. So when you go home, you have a husband or two husbands, or many, you have how many husbands? Just one? Old-fashioned, old-fashioned, old-fashioned. You know that in Tibet, women are, we have less women than men, so a woman marries 3 men. They are queens, huh? They are queens. They are really queens, huh? And next time when you go home, and when you ask your husband to do it better, give me a small IT lesson, you know. An international professor came and said that you could do it better. And he will say that he's going to invent a solution to kiss you in a different way. And then you say, could you please do it better every day? Do it better is something that relies on a poetry of the Middle Age, written by a French, which is very, very important. I'm going to choose a beautiful lady, but the problem is that they are not beautiful. It's very complex now. I said, oh, okay. Do it better relies on a very simple phrase, which is this one. Look at me. If not, you are not going to see. No, it's not going to see. You see, be very. Do it better is this. It's a French poetry of the Middle Age. And I say, my darling, Ginde, I love you more than yesterday, but I love you less than tomorrow. Oh, that's French poetry. How nice, huh? If you say that to a woman, she will agree, fly like that, very fast. Huh? Because it's true. This is the idea of do it better. Whatever you do, next time, put a different eye on it and try to do it a little bit better. Just not so much, 1% better. That's nothing. Huh? 1% is nothing. But if you do it every day with 1% better, at the end of the year, the improvement will be very visible. Because if you move a little bit quality on anything, on a certain or a financial management, etc., at a certain moment you know that you have a huge progress. The do it better relies on this. Do it better means do it even 1% better. I don't request 30% of progress, because at 30% you are going to spend a lot of money to do it. Keep it 1% better, but every week. That's fantastic, because in 50 weeks we have 50% better, which is much more interesting. Okay? So this is the continuum. And please keep in mind that while you are working on a project, I'm going to take a human example now. We have us here a simple woman that is working with his hands on a project everywhere. He has his face and his nose on his project, and he only sees his project. Okay? He's working on it every day. And there is a guy here, stand like this, which is the manager. That guy has, look, has the global vision. He sees a lot of people working. Okay? The global vision. So I request that this guy that is working, that is producing any kind of service, reports to the management and says, manager, I have this problem. Manager, I have this. Manager is going perfectly. Because the guy that is there, seeing the company, seeing the competition, the competitor, seeing the suppliers, seeing the financial, seeing the bank, etc., will have an idea. He will have an idea because the report to the management gives to the manager something absolutely fantastic. I'm going to show you this thing. So, if he receives the reports to the managers, he gets visibility. Without reports to the manager, he sees nothing. And with reports to the management, he has a good sight. So he can be clever. He can say clever things. So we have here the collection of the points. I'm going to repeat. So we have the director, the collection of objectives, immediately the metrics to know if my process is ill. It is not if it's in good health. Is my process ill? The KPI, the key process indicators, just indicate that. Then we have the input, activities. Activities are split in a lot of sub-activities. Those activities are run by resources that have a certain amount of tools. All the process itself is described in documentation, and we have a certain amount of points more, which is, first of all, time is money. We must survive. Means that we have risks that we must protect with security, that they will explode with a bazooka. So, what do we have in case that my process is dead? We must not die, we must survive. And then, we are going to have a lot of incidents and problems in our process, whatever the process, because we are not gods. Well, we are not yet gods. So what we produce is imperfect. And whatever we will do, it can be done better, even 1%. I love you less than yesterday, and more, sorry, I love you more than yesterday, and less than tomorrow. And here, you have those strange points, which are the controls. You may control a process, minimum start-stop. For example, in the moon, the guys have sent, the Russians have sent to Mars, have sent a Sputnik. Okay? They could not control it. No. Sputnik disappeared. You can imagine the amount of money that is lost. Yes, please?
Then I have a little suggestion for improvement. If you will change the resolution of computers and projectors will stop blinking and the people will feel much better in the room.
Yes, please.
We have big goals in problem. Just resolution will improve a lot for presentation.
Thank you. So you don't need to improve the professor, you need to improve the projector. If you need to improve the projector, just say it. Huh? What is it? What is it? What are you doing?
I'm trying to get
You need
the
to
resolution.
Resolution, one more. Click, 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 clack, click, clack. The resolution.
It's French computer, so he will fix it.
Resolution, this one here? This one here? What do I put over there?
Move it to low less.
How many? Yeah?
Say
600? That one? Let's try that one. You accept it as it is. Let's see. Is it correct? Off. prefer it like that? You prefer it like that? It's correct? Thank you so much. You have made, do it better. Huh? This is CSI. Whatever you do, you can do it better. That's very simple. Now, I was saying, so incidents not a problem. The resources that work with tools to make some different activities. All the activities are described in worksheets, explaining what you have to do in an activity. All this in documentation. Anyhow, documentation contains explanation about everything. The documentation contains the object, contains the name of the director's phone, contains the KPIs, and contains all the Excel data sheets that are the budgets, the planning, etc., etc. And we can control the inputs by pressing some buttons to have it faster, lower, high speed, low speed, or whatever. And in case that we have some issues, we can have here a door to recycle. And when you produce something in output, poof, we extract immediately something that goes to metrics. And now I am going to demonstrate that this thing is not unclever. We see that we have a process is 25 things. A process is not a collection of actions. If you don't have the objective, if you don't have the documentation, if you don't have the description of the tool, you have nothing. Now, let's make a try. Will you please be so kind, with all due respect, stand up. Now, when I approach you, I'm going to blink to a point. You must say in half of a second what it is. Okay?
Time is money.
This one.
Sources.
5 lots. 5. Please. That one. That one here. Incident is not a problem. Okay. That one over there. Number 9. Laila, don't copy. Huh? That one. You. That one. 12. Laila. Control. That one. That one. That one. Activity. That one. That one. That one. What is that?
Risk security.
Risk control. Activity. Okay. That one.
Incident that.
And that one.
Do it better.
You may sit down, you know now what is a process. And you will know it for 40 years. You will never forget it. I just request one thing. When you go home, it's a biological process that we have checked several times. When you go home, you take a blank page, you don't copy it. And you redraw the whole thing. And while you are going to redraw it, it will be written in your brains for 40 years. You will never more forget. And now, that's the curious. The curious thing is this. One moment, please. The curious thing is that if you look at this drawing, this drawing reminds me something. Reminds what? Reminds what? What? Say it louder, please. Yes, this drawing reminds me, in fact, something which is very famous, that only rich persons may have. It is a diamond. Of course, it's a small drawing. But now that you have seen it, your brain has kept it forever. When you are going to be in a meeting, we'll talk about any process, put a diamond in front of you, and you say, yes, yes, Mr. Director, yes, excellent, yes. And what about the rest? Are we in the planet? If we have something that goes wrong, how can we recycle? And you will see that the guy said, God. Because you have the idea of what a process is. And all ideal processes are this. You just change the objectives, you change the activities, and you know all the ideal processes. So, the processes are something very simple. Any process is a diamond. And much more interesting, you use the same notes with a little bit difference in the words, and you describe any project. Objective of the project, planning of the project, risk of the project, resources of the project. It's the same words. And if you arrive to those 22 titles, you've got the structure of your document for a process and for a project. And that is something more interesting. Something you have something more practice for 5 months. It's very good. It is any management is a diamond. If you need to manage a team, be careful about the resources. Do not forget to put in the documentation the description of their job. Okay? So the diamond is useful to cover the understanding of projects, of process and management. And just relying on this, we have something which is wonderful. And if you do my small exercise, you go home and you draw it once, you keep it in your brain forever. You will never forget it anymore. And in any situation, you will say, what says the diamond from Jean Garrity? Well, you may say, what says the diamond from His Excellency? Garrity has become stick to keep it modest. And in this case, you have one of the most interesting tools. We can transform the diamond, we can transform this. In an explosion, in a Microsoft explosion. And we are going to apply the rules of CSI, Continuous System Improvement. We are going to improve the situation with a break and a coffee. 10 minutes, please. Thank you. Participation, of course, you have noticed that I use a special style which sometimes may be seen as a clown, as an actor, etc. I can afford to do it because of PhD, 15 countries, 7 languages. I play the clown as a tool. It's a tool to teach. And this tool to teach is very important because when you see things that are very strange, like taking his glasses, stand up, etc., the brain memorizes in a flash. Okay? This idea of the diamond, for example, well, if you get literature about art, you will see it. But when I ask what is a process, I've got low-level answers. If I say, oh, what is a process? What do you say? Yes. Yes. Okay. It's a collection of 22 points. Yes. Give me 3 points of a process. 3 points.
Inputs, activities, outputs.
Okay. Give me 3 other points. Director. Director to resources. You see, your brain is skipping. This is my mission. This is my job. My job is not to show the knowledge that I have. My job is to put skills in brains. And I'm doing this in 35 years. I started before with my mother that was a teacher. When I was a little child, I saw her teaching. And so I transmit. I learn. Those tricks that I use are not because I'm a fool, are not because I don't have respect. if I take a bus and I shake it, I have a meaning on it. And with this special action, you will never forget. That's my target. You will never forget. I told you, and I repeat, if you go home, take a blank page, draw the diamond, you will never forget it anymore. But you must do it once, with a blank page, without copying. If you copy it, you will not keep it. If you do it from the beginning, perhaps 1 point or 2 will be missed. It's not an issue. When you open the solution, the copy will see the points that are missed, and for the last time they will enter in your brain, and they will stay there for 14 years. And you may reuse it tomorrow in a meeting. And you are going to see, if you say, now about the inputs that we have, and when you see the plans and what we have about the risk and the resources that we have, do you have some description about the tools, how is it like, the people will say how it dominates the situation of this process. And you are just repeating the 22 dots of the diamond. Now, theory is very interesting, but now, examples. Examples. I'm going to, I have a huge collection of examples. I have installed iPads, MMR, etc. in different countries, which is interesting because in this case I play like the bees. I enter in a flower, I give some pollen, I extract some pollen, I go to the other flower, I do the same thing. I learned a lot in different countries. I guarantee that the problems are the same in Mexico or in West Africa, but there are several paths to climb to the mountain of the installation of ITIL and cinema. I'm going to give an example for you, which is in Siemens in Spain. In Siemens, in Spain, they said, how are we going to install ITIL in our capital? How many years do we need to install ITIL in our capital? Siemens is a sumo, it's a big company, big company. And I said, well, what is your budget? And they said, well, we are going to budget 4 years for implementation of ITIL. Perhaps enough. And I said, okay, I keep the budget, and I do it in 4 months. No, yes, no, yes. I just have one constraint. I will give trainings dedicated to this mission, but from the top president to the bottom guy of the company, everyone must attend to this, the training. And so I have done it, and I had the president, the low-level guys, the secretary, etc. And I was explaining all this. The diamond, I used the diamond to put this, and people knew what is a risk. People knew what is an incident, what is a problem. They understood it. On the last day, when we had foundation and then 2 levels of trainings, because I teach at the first level of ITIL, I took some guys and I said, no, you are going to be the incident manager, you are the financial manager, you are the director of asset management, etc. And good news, Mr. President, thank you so much for coming here in this meeting, this last meeting, because we are ITIL since 10 seconds. We are ITIL. At the moment, it's blank, but we are ITIL now, and I will act as service manager. What is a service manager? A service manager is something like, something which is the Knights of the Round Table. You know this, the Knights of the Round Table. You have a special one, which is totally the same as the other ones, but he has a crown, which is called King Arthur. And we have other people. Those people that are sitting around the table are the directors of the process, whatever the process. And there is one guy, which is owner of the global one, which is the service manager, that we call that the King Arthur. He has the same rights as the other ones, same duties, but he owns something which is the global procedure, the global process. And it does not take decisions. It gives directions, work description of jobs, targets, etc. It describes diamonds for everybody. And then everybody starts. And I have started it with a diamond cycle. We do this tomorrow, this today. Then we check in the evening what we have done, and we improve it. And the blank pages, the blank files, the blank documentations about the item installations that were totally empty. I have opened a Word and I say, this is the documentation. I opened it in Excel. This is the service level management tool. And we improve it, we improve it, improve it. 4 months later, it was finished. It was the first time in my life that I could earn the budget of 4 years in 4 months. That was, and I don't tell about the holidays I had. Well, it's not totally true because they have made a huge discussion. Those companies always complain that they don't have money. And I try to tell, what have I done? Very simple. First of all, let's be clear. Everybody must have the training, because if not, you start a meeting, you start a direction, and the guy says, what do you say? Activity, but what is an activity? Not sick. In this case, I tell an activity could be a whole diamond. An activity is so big that it is a process itself, so the diamond contains diamonds inside. If objectives is huge, because objective is send a man to the moon, the description of the objectives becomes a process. It's so complex, we are going to have thousands of pages just to describe the object. And the documentation may be so big, for example, for a bank or for whatever, the documentation is so big that to handle the documentation is a small square of the activity, and it becomes a process alone in his own life. So we have the Russian puppets. And how do we start a process? Whatever the process, I don't care. Whatever the process, the solution is always the same, and I'm going to draw it here. How do we start a process? Well, the first thing is that we have somebody from the management or whatever that say, we need something. We need something. We need something like a call center, like a new accounting system or whatever, new system, whatever. We need something. This takes a few words to tell it. Well, who is going to be chosen to handle this project, this process? We need a manager. So we are going to choose the director. And we will tell to the director, it's a pleasure to receive you. Now you have problems, issues, and I can't go to holidays. Solve it. Okay? The manager, that is started, the first movement, he opens the documentation. And he starts to say, I have, those are the objectives that are given by the board. And he starts writing. And he writes 1 hour, 2 hours, 2 days, or 2 weeks, he writes explanations, just objectives. Then he said, God, to do so many things, I will need people. I will need people. I will need a system engineer, I will need administration, I will need a finance, I will need people. So he gathers some resources. Calls the resources, first meeting. Look, I am the director, we must do this. I have chosen you because I think that your skills are needed. What do you think that you could produce as activities? Please go down and enrich the documentation saying what your job is going to be. You see the targets over there? The targets are, you have 20 targets, which one can you take? Well, I can take the installation of service. Well, installation of service and activity, and you do it. What do you need for that? Well, I need Oracle 9 or Oracle 10 with documentation. And said, okay, just buy the tools. And we have a connection between the tools and that. Now, you are going to install the service, okay, thank you so much, but who is going to use it? You are going to build it, but who is going to use it? Well, maybe you are going to need 4 people to fill the database. And said, okay, that's new resources. What do they need? They need to use the tools that we are going to construct. Okay, put everything and put the description of their job in the documentation. Okay. And do it in a PDCA, in a Deming cycle, every day. Try to do it better. Then, now that we have the activities, are we sure about the quality of the inputs that we have? We are going perhaps to install an activity with one resource that will be just checking the quality of the inputs. Then we are going to do the same thing, install an activity that will be the check of the outputs. Oh yes, the timetable, and the plans. Oh, please call a girl with a global vision that will be handled the plannings. And she was really responsible for planning. Now, how much salaries do we have already in this? That's too complex, and we must deliver what, when? Well, we have an issue. We must be clear on budgets. So call somebody, you are responsible for budgets. And your activity is responsibility of budgets. And you see that any point here becomes an activity there that is handled by a resource with a certain amount of tools, and that is documented. Always the same entry point for the documentation. And we install like that all points. The last point to be done is those ones, except this, report to the management. Report to the management every day. Report to the management is very simple. You have 5 minutes to explain what you have done today. No more. If you talk more than 5 minutes, it means that you really don't know a job, and you don't know that my time is very precious. I have thousands of things to do. So you have 5 minutes to explain. If you have something that is going wrong, or you just say that we are at 10% of the target, 20% of the target. Thank you so much. Next one. With this, I could handle the installation of Siemens in 4 months, a little bit more, 4.5 months, which is correct. Okay. And Siemens is now 100% idle. When I say 100%, 100%, all the processes are installed. We have started it in version 2, and poof, we moved in version 3 in the middle. The description of the diamond helps a lot in meetings. You put the diamond in the wall, and immediately a lot of ideas come. Yes, we have a very big issue because there is an activity which is handled by the server, Windows Server 28, and in the Active Directory we have something that is not, oh, okay, call a resource for it. Yes, and it's going down very often. Okay, we need to handle some incidents, call a person that will do it. You always give a responsibility to somebody that you may share. You may have, of course, projects where the incident, the person that handles incidents or whatever, works for different people. And install a matrix of jobs and the matrix of targets. So normally, a normal company of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people, 4 months it's finished. Provided it's one constraint. One constraint. From the top manager to the last one, everyone must go to the first practice. Because if not, they will not be able to decide, and we could enter in a dispute that the president has a small idea about it. Yes, I have heard about ITIL. My son talked about ITIL. Yes, but I've run this company since 13 years, and precisely what I'm doing here, ITIL is a thing. Okay, call it ITIL, but do it the same way we are doing today. It's not ITIL. Okay, it will not run. The most interesting point that becomes very clear is the metrics. And you must teach to everybody that metrics are very, very cold. For example, We have here a splendid system engineer that is working on the database, Oracle, etc. And while he's working, there's a guy that opens the door and says, I'm the general manager, will you please stop that and make me this and this and that? The general manager, the owner of the house, the system engineer has only one word to say, yes, I do it. But I open a matrix saying I was disturbed once, and instead of working 1 hour on this, I was working for another point under a request of His Majesty the King. Matrix. And suppose that a lot of managers come to this brilliant system engineer and say the same thing, matrix. One day we have a meeting, and you say, no, the system engineer, what's running there, you should be much faster, should be finished, not finished yet, what? And the guy will simply show the matrix. I am a lawyer employee, I'm working, and I have worked 100 hours, and I have 50 hours that were requested by managers to work on this. I guarantee it, in this case, you say, shit, we are the owners, we are the responsible ones for breaking this job. Okay? And people learn very fast. So in Siemens we are doing that because Spanish are people that shout a lot and they have a huge expression. And if a manager says something, people will obey, etc., etc. And in South Korea, with hard work here, the line of employees, the tree of employees is a manager is a dictator for the slaves that are there, and he's a slave for the big bosses that are there. It's a culture. Okay? So we have installed the matrix also in Seoul, and the sumos, the big bosses say, well, we are disturbing our troops. We are disturbing our troops. It was visible. Metrics do not criticize. Metrics are X-rays. I have been disturbed 10% more than the last week. The suppliers are giving service at a faster or lower speed, etc., etc. So, this movement is how we install. First of all, small description of the objectives. Second, choose the big boss, the director. Third, he starts writing, increasing the objectives. Opens immediately, first movement, opens the documentation. That will be a big documentation, not a word. A document that is too slow and that is too small. You cannot search it. It will be a wiki. It will be like Wikipedia. It will be something easy to find, it will be a collection box or whatever. It will not be mails. I said to Siemens, we have a brand new innovation. Since now, you are writing mails about everything. And in order to be sure that the managers have the information, you make a copy of 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 the mail to send it to a copy of people. And you are fooling the company with thousands of mails. So now I have opened one mail, and the mail contains, this mail is very important, very carefully, confidentiality, do not print, keep it secret, etc. And the content of the mail is, thank you. Because I asked, do you come to the meeting? It was a pleasure to see you. Okay, answer, thank you. Well, I send a mail to say thank you. You are filling a server on the internet with thousands of mails. How many mails you had this morning? Well, this morning I work a lot, you know. I had 150 mails in the morning. How many times you were opening the mails? My suggestion is, if you receive 150 mails, you catch them all and you put them in the basket. You don't read one. Okay? And if somebody says, you read my mail, no. Why? I had too much mail, I throw my mails away. It was very important what I said, what have you done? Yes. If you need something, you use collaboration tools, blogs, wikis, whatever, that everybody will be able to see, and you don't write to me. You never write to others. Never write to Walters. Oleg and Walter are persons. You must write to the function. you must write to the system administration. So, system administrator at company.com. And if I'm not available because I go to holidays, I will request to somebody, I will give her the login of systemadministration.com, and she will answer. And you will never know if you are talking to Dennis or if you are talking to Tatiana. You are talking to a function, which is system administrator. Mails, personal mails disappear, and are replaced by function mails. It's a function mail which is general manager. And you don't know who signs it. It is general manager. Of course, he has the login to go there, etc., etc. But if you know he needs to go to see a big client, that's not there, and you have a very important answer that comes, the assistant, okay, will see the mail. I can answer and say, big manager, I say yes, I say no, etc. Okay? So, and much better, you destroy the mail system. Means you don't use mails. We use collaboration tools. Low-level collaboration tools, is Lotus Notes, etc., etc. You have much better solutions. When I say low-level, it's because since when we have Lotus? Since when? Since when?
World War.
Huh?
Second World War.
Yes, Second World War. They are old-fashioned. It's too old to be new. If it is too old to be new, find another solution. Okay? Because if you are using old tools, you are going to do old mistakes with old delays and old ways of using the tool. Invent something else. Please keep in mind, I'm going to show you why it is so important to change. Small question. What was, Dennis, what was, please, the first invention of humanity?
Invention of humanity?
Yes. That's a big invention.
It's do not do with your friends or people next to something you don't like to do with you.
No. What was the first invention of humanity? The fire.
A rock.
No, the rock. Yes. The first invention of humanity was fire. Let's say it was the first invention. When do we have it, this first invention? When? 600,000 years ago. The first fire dominated by men. Now, okay, let's go to something easier. What was the second invention of humanity? Janis? Janis, what was the second invention?
Probably the campfire.
The extinctor.
Control of fire.
Magnus,
Wells.
the wheel.
Wheel.
Yes, the wheel, no. The wheel is very late. Wheel was invented by minus 3000. This is the wheel. Writing and the culture, which is the same, writing and the culture, was by minus 8000. Okay. The cat was, the dog was, became a friend of the humans by minus 8000, and by minus 7000 it was the cat. Okay. That's it, we are too far away. This is invention number one. What is the invention number two of humanity? What is the second invention? You have it at home. You have it at home. You still have it at home.
No, Apple PC.
Huh? The second invention of humanity is the needle. That was made with the fishes. You took the bones, the small bones of the fishes, you cut it a little, press a little bit on the stone. Why? Because with a needle, you can build shoes. Oh, it's very right. You can build shoes. If you can build shoes, you can go much far away. Because you can walk with shoes, your feet are protected. If not, in 200 meters you are cut. Ah, there's also something. You can build clothes. If you can build clothes with a needle, in this case, you will be able to resist to cold weather, etc. And furthermore, with a needle, you can build bags. Oh, bags. You can put your culture inside and give it to your son. You can transmit the culture. So a needle, may I take the culture back? With a needle, the needle is the second dimension of reality. And when was it made? By minus 60,000. So, look at the distances for inventions of humanity. Look at the distance between the first and the second invention, 540,000 years to get the second invention. And now we are here in 2012. In 2012, we have 1,200 inventions per second. This is an invention, this is an invention, this is an invention, this is an invention. Ah, this is an invention over there. This is an invention everywhere. This is an invention. This is an invention. 80% of those inventions is software. It's very easy to invent in software. New systems, new languages, new applications. 80% of those inventions are programs, software. So why are you using old tools? You could perhaps click on the internet and search something new. And if your bosses say, oh, it's not the culture of the house, etc., send him to an international professor, and you will be the boss. Okay? Because they are clever people. When they are correctly explained, they decide correctly. They are humans as the other ones. So, the inventions that are here and the speed that we have now says that you must be able to change very fast. It's normal to change. What you are having now will be obsolete tomorrow. What you have now is obsolete since yesterday. Since yesterday. You bought something which was absolutely fantastic. It's ridiculous. It's version 2, I have version 3, etc. Okay? Inventions become obsolete very fast. So, if inventions become obsolete very fast, why are you still using Lotus?
Best tool for collaboration.
Oh, you have thousands of new tools. You have thousands of new tools. And so, in Siemens, what I have done, of course, they had the Lotus tool. And I say, Lotus is absolutely splendid. It's a wonderful tool. It is so wonderful that it is very complex. So we are going to use something which is more simple, and we are going to put Lotus in a museum and respect him every day. We say, Lotus, how wonderful you are, and let's use something which is brand new. Okay? But we must migrate the mails, and what will you? Yeah. You have an issue? Yes. Do solve it, please. Thank you. Do not forget that we are in 2012. Our speed is absolutely fantastic. 20 years ago, or 50 years ago, or 100 years ago, to go from here to London, it was a huge complex thing. Now, it's nothing. And if you want to go to London and you don't have time, you do a video chat, okay, and you are there. Like Yoda in 3 dimensions in Star Wars, you are there. Okay? It's not necessary. Do not take old arguments for what they are. They are just old arguments. Old arguments may be wiped out with new technologies, new ideas, etc. If you refuse, we have 1,000. You just click, search, and you will find solutions. You will, of course, calibrate them, tell them how to install it, and create a process and run it, that's all. So, installation of Siemens was that. No mails, a mail that says, thank you, please. If you send me some mails, if I have more than 20 mails, everything goes in the basket. But I have sent you a mail. Yes? Thank you so much very much. Thank you very much. Next time you go to the wiki over there and you write your question and you have the collaboration tools, etc. Because if I'm not available, another person will be able to read it, they will sign and will answer, etc. Okay? And it will run 24 months, it was finished. Because why they have thought at the beginning to have 4 years? Because they were using all technologies and all philosophies to solve new issues, new problems. No. New problems, new solutions. Okay? Do not try to cook new meat with very old ovens. Use the new ones, the micro oven. It's better. Okay? New solutions are better. And in order to push your companies, in order to change, very simple. Train the guys that have the power to decide, the managers. Train them. They are clever people, they are honest. They are trained, poof, they will stick to it. If they are not trained, they will say, we shall continue to use our methods and we call it time, which is not the correct solution. Okay? Now, that was the example of Siemens. Before giving a place to Vladimir that has to explain something interesting, I'm going to talk a little bit about CMMI. We have a very nice example about CMMI, sorry. We have a very nice example which was in Seoul. I was born in Seoul, in South Korea. I'd like to go to North Korea because I would explode over there. I was not invited. I was invited in South Korea saying we have a huge problem. We are South Korean companies, etc. And the big bosses are very big bosses. And the employees are complaining that the big bosses are really very boring, that the meetings are very long, it's a shit. And they cannot work enough because they have 2 meetings in the morning, 2 hours each one, and 2 meetings in the afternoon, 2 hours each one. And then they are requested to produce a lot and they go to bed. What can we do? And I said, aha, an interesting idea, okay, thank you so much. Do you have somebody that knows electronics in your home? Yeah. You are in South Korea. Of course. Okay, could you please put a counter in the door here, a counter, and connect it to the database of the payroll, please. And put a badge lector, a badge reader, and when somebody enters in the meeting room, he says, I'm here, and his salary is being counted every minute. And he sits in the meeting. They make the meeting, etc. And at a certain moment, one of the big bosses comes, and in South Korea, as I told them, everybody slaves from the upper level. And the boss came, I'm going to participate in your meeting to help you have results. I'm not happy. The count is exploding. What's new? Good. The cost of the meeting is 2,000 euros already. I'll let you continue, I will come later. They pushed the big bosses away. And said, they say, well, the meeting costs that much. Meeting costs that much. And I came one day and I said, how long is your meeting? Well, it's 2 hours, as usual. Ah, that's very good, very good. The target that I give you is 10 minutes to make your meeting. When you have finished your meeting, in 10 minutes, you go back to work. But we cannot! Of course we can. Before coming to the meeting, you prepare the meeting with a collaboration tool, you do it this way, etc. You know precisely the agenda before entering. If somebody says, what is the agenda today? Throw him away. If he says, on point number 17, what is point number 17? Throw him away. If he is not prepared to participate to the meeting, he has no right to enter into the meeting. It's a law from law. In 4 months later, the meetings were without managers and lasted 10 minutes. they could produce much more. Why? Because I have simply installed a better quality. Cinema is this. I have increased the level of quality. They have a huge burden, which was the big bosses. Let's put them down. How to put them down? They cost a lot because they are very clever. They deserve their salary, but God, they are exploding the budgets. And this the meeting is too long, let's make it short. And they could say, we have finished the meeting and it costed 200 euros. It's fantastic. We have taken 3 decisions, 4 decisions have not been taken. They are postponed to the next meeting tomorrow, 10 minutes. But we are going to write in the declaration tool my opinion on this, my opinion on that, what are the risks if you take this solution, etc. I'd like to put this, and we talk by chat or whatever, not by mail, with a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. Okay? And in this case, when I arrive to the meeting, we just say that it's a pleasure to see you. Now, about point number 7, what do you think? Yes, no, yes, yes, why, yes, no, please justify. Okay, thank you so much. And you asked about the point number 13, what do you think about it? No? Do you say no? Okay, good, sure. Your justification is good, correct. Poof, 10 minutes, it's finished. Because everybody is prepared before. Everybody says that we must be excellent as usual. Okay, we were trained by a brilliant international professor, so we must be brilliant now. That's him. Okay, let's keep it modest, okay? And, oh, it lost. Of course, I must keep it modest. Things are not very easy. I'm not presenting it like a dream that runs perfectly. Things are difficult. But if you have the pressure, and you notice that I have the pressure, I have the power to push, and if I have a friend which is the big boss, if I have a friend which is the big boss, I will go on. If the big boss is not my friend, I am totally stopped. Because they'll say, yes, you said to do this, but do not forget me to give you this document, and let's prepare a meeting about it, and let's invite this person, etc., etc. All the ideas. So I take the big bosses, and I clean their heads. And in this case, when they understood that we are working in the correct direction with the fresh inventions, with the fresh ideas, containing the ideal benefits, they accept, they do it, they participate in the dance, and it's much better. This is the way to do it. And I will pass now the word to Vladimir, that will present him also his own idea.
Before I start, Jean, could you answer one of the questions that
Which one?
have been in the heading of the topic?
Yes, which one?
How to do it so quick that you get results in few weeks?
First of all, you must have the managers in your pocket. If you don't have the manager in your pocket, there will be elephants in front of the corridor and they will not pass. You must make reports to the manager saying, we are going to do this. This is the style. Okay? Let's do it this way. If he says yes, you must bring him once to the meeting saying, we are going to Vital. Step 1, number 3. Mr. President, what do you say about number? Yes, do it, or do it. It's very important to do it. Thank you so much, goodbye. You have the commitment of the big bosses, it's perfect. You need the big bosses 5 minutes for the minutes, for the entrance meetings. Then you must train everybody, that's number 2. If somebody is not trained, you cannot work. Because they don't have the language, they don't have the power, they don't know what is asset management, what is, I don't know, whatever, incident or problem, they mix it all, they don't know what is the diamond, etc., etc. So training, and then you do a first project, which is not so big, not too big ambitious, with a person that does the project as a project leader, with the mission of being a professor, that teaches the other people. He enters in the company to be a project leader, with another mission number 2, teach everybody. So it takes 10% more of time, but everybody learn at the end. When this is finished, the population can do it alone. This is the solution that we have found that seem to work absolutely correct. This is my solution. Okay, really?
I will be quite humble, will not shake anyone, will do it in quite old-fashioned boring way, but good benefit that I have wired now. I'm wired. I will speak slow, on a lower tone now. But I will give practical case, because I'm consultant. I do this for companies. And you see a cycle that's typical for all IT service management roadmap development. You first define a problem, you qualify needs, you baseline the situation. Usually it's by ISO 20000 audit or similar. You develop a roadmap and you follow up. So you're, as a consultant, you ensure that the idea you had in mind, it's not just 16% that they got, but you follow, you get feedback, you see first seeds and quick wins. Case it was done during last year in a Russian insurance company. It's quite big, more than 100,000, more than $10 million IT budget, and then more than 100 IT employees. But the maturity of IT organization, let's say, is quite low. Why? Because in Russia many companies have been enjoying natural growth. Because market was booming, it was not needed to think about efficiency. But now they have not so bright situation. They have more ambitious targets to increase their position and become not just top 10 but top company. And they started proactively to think what they can do. So many branches, multiple help desks, low process maturity, and no SLA with business. This just to remind, because ITIL and ITSM, IT service management, these things usually are confusing, and people put equality sign between it. But let it be clear that IT service management are just 10 processes from ITIL, which are most widely used. And starting from incident, problem, configuration, to continuity and finance. And one more very important thing within the services for customers is service desk, because that's the face of organization. Do you recall a movie, Face Off? When companies take decision, let's outsource our service desk. It's not important, it's just incidents. Only problems come in. But not every company thinks that you take your face of organizations off and give to somebody. And you are still, you need to produce all the services and all the results. But the face you give to someone, it's not always very well weighted decision. What is roadmap? Roadmap is nothing more just a plan. It's a strategic plan that helps organization to determine this way, how they want to achieve better maturity, better efficiency, reduce costs, and get more satisfaction in the eyes of customers. And one thing which is important is if business and IT are aligned. if the IT is not just an island somewhere and the business is something totally different. Now, directly to the learnings. From that case, I have got 100% support to the idea that you really do not see ITIL implemented somewhere in a real company as it is in the books. Books are fiction. Personally, I went through these ITIL intermediate certifications, and they suppose that people will read these 500, 600 pages with appendixes for each module, with annexes, etc. Are they really serious that everyone will sit and read these 500 and then for each process, for each model? Each company has its own background and history. So you see some adaptation of these practices. And what you can do is to give improvements. You can help them to do it better. So we do not implement ITIL, and please do not try if you want to. Try to adapt and adopt things from these books, from these practices. Also, this initiative is not just a simple project. It's an organizational change project. So this means that you need to have quite broad approach and take into account many things that are not just tangible tool that will be installed or process that will be changed. It's not only process tools, it's also people, governance, and culture. So on the process side, we have found out that in order to gain better involvement and support from business, it's always much better to start with the processes that are customer-facing, where you will have business representatives notifying your changes, and not from the processes that are internal. Also, this philosophy, do it better, is also sometimes called Kaizen in Japan, or there is a lean movement. So it's good to apply this thinking, to not start implementing these books in organization, but to start with solving the most critical problems. And by saying that you shall use Lean, I say that not just for this project, but you shall try to install to the management group of this company, management team, this thinking. For example, what we have done, we have created Kanban board for this ITSM roadmap. So actually managers didn't have separate project that reported to them the progress. But they were members of the project, each week standing in front of the Kanban board, deciding which activities to pull out. Tools. Many have tried to implement new tools, and you always learn on mistakes, and usually mistakes are your own. When you implement something, afterwards you will have idea that you could do it better. So, and this idea is not about a tool itself, but about the process that you automate. So, and if you start changing process, then you need perhaps to change the tool again. So it's a better idea to think what changes in the process you want before you automate. And again, a fool with a tool is still a fool. This means that if you're, as a manager or project manager, think that you will bring the new remedy or ServiceNow platform, which is cloud-based, very nice, process, Pink Elephant, certified, but you do not think about how to address people, how to address organizational culture, then you are throwing the tool against the wall and think that it will work. No. People. It's always good to be involved, right? Is it good feeling when you're involved? It's much better than when you're silent, right? You can, you probably have noticed the popularity of agile tools, Scrum, etc. Why? Is it so cool and brings better results? Not always. In government sector, perhaps it's even more fails, but still people are very enthusiastic. Why? Because it's about bigger involvement. Because the main idea of Agile, that you install a team and withdraw yourself as a project manager or manager from that team. And team starts to self-manage. And everyone is involved. Everyone has a say. So involvement of the people when you want to do a change, when you want to implement IT service management or some improvements, is always good. They will give ideas. So how we have done immediately, we have done serious workshops with not only management teams, but also with experts, and also separate with leads of some service lines, and they started to come ask for their ideas. And actually they had a lot of ideas that they could do. And when we asked about the problems, we create the list of the problems and the list of ideas. And actually, that was a start for the project. The list of ideas from the people who have been honestly asked and involved. But they all are busy. And maybe in Western companies, it's not so bad, but in Russian companies, the employees have duties, and some more duties. They are overloaded. This is what I have noticed. Perhaps in many other companies also. But in this situation, what to do? It's possible to find ways to free up resources to do these transformational activities. And if you do it step by step, then you free up people time to do the project. One example that we have done, it was asked, so when you you have things that you definitely would do because it will give results and improve things for the business and customer. But you don't have time. Could you tell which ones? So they told, and we prioritized out and asked management. Okay, dear management, now please align with the business that this group of people, this day, gets a half day free. They are not disturbed. And you align with the business that it's the time for them to do the idea they had in mind. Do it better. And it started to work. When it's done once, people will have more ideas how to free up more time. But it needs management, for sure. And it needs also, from the management team, it needs the role model to show how they do it. For governance, it was learning that ITIL tells what to build in the process, and SOBIT, Control Objects for IT, tell how to control the process. And if you just build something in the process and don't think about diamond and how to control the process, it's a waste of time. For culture, there is a saying that you cannot change organizational culture, but you can influence it. So if you want to do a project that actually needs to address organizational culture in a big organization, you shall start with a pain points, with the small steps. So this is what we identified, and based on these pain points and needs, we have built the roadmap. So, do you have questions about this?
Some examples from Latvian companies. Do you have? Which companies in Latvia use ITIL or
For example, John Gertie is here because one of telecom companies is teaching their shared service center employees to the standards of ITIL IT service management.
I know, it's Tele2.
Yes, Tele2 shared service center.
Yeah, but what about the real companies? Tele2 is it's not our shareholders.
Latvenergo?
Latvenergo, okay. The big players.
Yeah, big players usually do. But again, in the smaller companies, you don't need the ITIL books. You don't need certified experts even. You just need the idea of structuring the way you approach the problems, the way you build the processes.
For example, tomorrow I'm coming to my company and I want to I need a priority how to start my ITIL, rebuilding my IT department to involve these ITIL practices best. I start to read books, I start with the theory what you gave me, or I start working hard on making something better.
You start with the professor.
You study.
The professor. So
You study.
I just call you and you.
The reason is that if you start reading the book is an Agatha Christie book. It is very long and will be boring in 2 weeks. Okay? The professor will show you the way. You know that it remains fun, and he will give you some milestone. That will be sufficient. And he will tell you, play this and do that and deliver at that time. It will be done. Because the mission that is given by the professor will be correctly achieved. And he will help you to achieve. When you have one, you plant another one, and then you connect like a network to France. In some months it's finished. ITIL, I guarantee that ITIL is first month.
I'm not going to explain these points, but these are standard steps on how roadmap is implemented. And as you see, one of the first steps is undertake awareness education. So you need people to understand this. That's right. But even more important, to clarify if there is a problem. Viewers would, I think, approve that any project starts with what?
With idea or a project or a problem.
Okay. Please now ask questions.
Okay,
Jan,
we are
to me.
available for any sort of questions, please. We may give answers about how we cook French recipes in French, how we play the piano, how we sing the flamenco, how we dance the waltz. How we dance the waltz, we may teach also. And after this joke, because jokes come just in order to break, because if not, it's going down. So please be free to ask anything that is concerned. Sticks to the point, but we'll try to give an answer. So first question, please.
How ITIL interacts with CMMI?
ITIL is a part of CMMI. CMMI is more to organize the people, for example, to make meetings of in 10 minutes instead of 2 hours. This is a CMMI. Increase the quality of the management. ITIL says nothing about it. CMMI is much more about do it better in terms of general organization. Show me your business processes. For example, show me the accounting. Show me how the big boss is working. Show me your process, big boss, okay? And we are going to see if, at what level of CMMI it is, okay? ITIL is another thing. Install processes, put them running at the service of the management, because of course, all those processes are IT processes at the service of the client, which is the business. Okay? It's totally different. We can take both the processes at the same time, yes, because it's two different trainings, two different approaches. And big bosses stick very fast to CMMI because it's not IT, or it's not IT to understand. A database, a process, they will not do it perfectly. They stick to CMMI much faster. And IT people stick to IT much faster. It's their language. So we have two sorts of languages, but they always push in the same direction. Better quality, do it better, do it better, do it better. That's the main core, is do it better. And be very careful with the SLAs that you sign with your client. Another question?
What's your personal top 3 knowledge sharing and collaboration tools? Or your best experience at your customers?
Collaboration tools, well, it depends a lot of the companies, but the best collaboration tools are the brand new ones, the wikis, the boards, the blogs, etc. That explodes very fast. If you have something urgent, send me an SMS. If not, you go to the global wikis and you write your question, etc. We have created the diamond in Excel data sheets that are transformed afterwards in Oracle databases and MySQL, MariaDB database, etc. And it runs fast. I don't have time to show them here, but I guarantee that the diamond is you see on a click of Excel, and whatever the business case that you take, for example, accounting or investments or financial management or whatever, poof, I give an Excel data sheet, you click and everything is inside, and you can start typing, and if it becomes too big, poof, we explode it in something which is bigger than Excel, which is Oracle based or whatever, and it runs perfectly. Things are much easier than you think, but the question is, do it, do it, do it. And if you are afraid of it, I will bring you the big boss that says, okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. If the big boss is a Steve Jobs that pushes, everybody runs very fast. My main role is just to pilot in a good direction. Okay, I'm just to play the trumpet, yes, the piano, a little bit, halal, etc. That's all, and it runs very really. Another question, please. Yes.
Is there is a point to implement ITIL in small companies, for example, 5 employees only?
No. In very small companies, you must know what the ITIL is, and the first thing that you must handle is the financial management, because we have a look of the operations, install the financial management, and a little bit about the sets and the supply management, etc. The relations with the automobile. Okay? 5 people is too small.
Where it starts when we must think, for example, 15, 20?
It's a question of budget. If your company rises to some hundred thousands of euros of income, yes, in this case, you are having a lot of money in your hand, put item on it because it will be a secure wall. If it's done by 2 people or 2,000 people, it's not the case. How many money do you have to handle? Another question, please? Tom, a question, please?
To summarize all this, like what was told today, basically in just 1 minute, 2 minutes, like what you go through this.
To summarize?
Summarize.
Yes, summarize, yes. Use the diamond. It's very simple. You will never forget it. Every time that you need to talk about the project, use the diamond. Every time you need to know an item process, use the diamond. Every time you need to do something about management, use the diamond, because everything is included. This is number 1. Second, build the future. Oscar Wilde, which is a Spanish writer, said, prepare the future because you are going to live there. Prepare the future, it means that you bring the people to trainings that show the future. Show the future, you are not still there, but you are preparing it. And then dare to start. Do not forget, this is I told you so many times that it seems to be boring, but bring the managers to trainings because when they understood, poof, they can accept and they go in the correct direction. If all people is training except the big boss, it's a catastrophe because the big boss will not be able to bring his brain in the correct language, which is the ITIL and CMMI language. He will not be able to talk. And as everybody is afraid to be unpleasant for the big bosses, things do not run smoothly. So train the big bosses, that's very important. Other question, please? Yes, sir?
If we speak about like ITIL, it's like a SLA, and SLA it's like maintenance process like service. If we look like a project is, in theory, it's like in time, unique activities. So how it's connected like ITIL, which is like framework for continuing processes, and the project management, which is like unique thing.
Okay, when we are preparing a project, in this case the project is something unique that starts and that ends, okay? Okay, that's good. And when you start a process for asset management, financial management, it's something that will run for 3 years, it's not the same. But you have always the same 22 points, there's something just that is going to change. Activities are much more deep in terms of create software, install software, install documentation, etc., which is a big. And when it's done, it's finished. You must have a sort of airplane, airplane checklist. Have we done this? Have we done this? Have we done this? Etc. When it's finished, finished. Okay, you deliver. For both of them, the central, the crucial point is the SLA. You have a project, what do you have to do? It's written in SLA. When you deliver, release management, etc., are we doing precisely what the SLA requests? The client signs each line of the SLA, does not sign the whole document. Each line says yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. We need to increase something, capacity management, whatever. Take the SLA back, put it on the table. The only document that is absolutely necessary in your project, SLA. SLA is the obligation, the legal obligation between you and the client. So this is the pilot. In the case of installing ITIL, which is totally different, you need to have a king author that pushes a little bit. The king author must not be an excellent ITIL expert. It must be a guy that pushes. I guarantee that Steve Jobs or Spielberg, and even the guy that is directing the Scala Milano, etc., they cannot play the trumpet very well, but he knows how to push people. He knows how to push people. He's an excellent manager, and that's what we request. And remember, what is an excellent manager? What is an excellent manager, Oleg? From normal people. You are always going to have normal people. There are normal big bosses, normal small bosses, normal boring bosses, normal private bosses, normal employees, they are normal. But if you have a person that really pushes in the correct sense, he sets it on fire. Have another question, please?
How to measure ICO
By the KPIs. The KPIs, you measure how many client satisfaction you have, and in this case, the clients are IT people. We have installed this. Are the managers of the process satisfied? You are the financial manager. You have installed your financial manager. Are you satisfied? No, yes. Something is missing. I cannot deliver my KPIs. I cannot deliver my outputs. Something missing. So in this case, your clients are precisely the guys that are installing Iroquois. Another question, please? I thank you so much for your... Yes?
Sorry. Regarding excellent technician, your definition was getting excellent results from agreed service level.
It's a guy that delivers.
So what if in the company the excellent technician is considered the normal guy that gets excellent results from crappy equipment?
You know, it's better to do something what you have. Something is better than nothing. I guarantee that if I have a pencil, I can manage a company of 1,000 people. Of course, I will manage it better if I have a PC, but with a pen I can do it. Napoleon could perhaps work. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Good. Oh, yes. Napoleon could work surely much better if Napoleon had this kind of tool. And Julius Caesar, you may imagine Julius Caesar with this. It would be fantastic. Ah, a guy that didn't have Hitler could not have himself. We have escaped like a disaster. You may imagine Hitler with this. A catastrophe. It's not the tool that makes the person. It's the person that creates the tool, that becomes the tool. Yeah, he said it was perfect. A tool with a fool will remain still a fool. Okay. It's a question how to dare to push, how do you have the pressure, how can you solve this idea that you must at 5:30 you must go to home and see your children and your women, etc. And Bruno and single, I don't know what is the tradition like, okay? But you must be at home at the moment and your job must be finished. If we teach people how to do it, it runs better. It runs better. Really, I tell you, I work a lot in several countries and try to do it, and you are going to be astonished. It runs. I understand perfectly that people are afraid to start. Yes, but my boss, my salary, my position, etc., etc. Give me your hand and run and swim together. You are going to cross the river and you are going to be on the other side faster than you think. But please, call me your boss. I need your boss first. If I have your boss, the question is in the pocket. Already in the pocket. Last question, please. I thank you so much. I declare this operation closed. It was a pleasure for me to be here with you, and I accept all invitations that came from Women to Dance for this evening. Thank you so much.